Hey, this is Expat Dad in Seattle, Washington, which will allow us to go into how what we're seeing in the United States and Canada right now is not what you think. So you might think, and you wouldn't be wrong for thinking so, that the United States and Canada are two different nations. In reality, the United States and Canada are two different unions between the many nations that exist. So let's get started. What the heck do I mean by all of that? So Canada is a confederation of provinces which are really regions that are separated geographically, but that share common cultures and that have some agreement as to how their confederation should run. And to keep things simple, we call it a nation, but it really is a dominion of the United Kingdom. It's the last remnant of the British Empire in North America, the last significant one. Then we have the United States. The United States is in reality a union, but it is a union of, again, nations that form different agreements and alliances, and that has been the case throughout history. So why is this important? Why am I bringing this up? So when we're seeing Trump talk about Canada being the 51st state, what he's talking about is he wants the provinces of Canada, which are really parts of nations that already exist within the United States. And there's a great book that goes into this called The American Nations. I'll have the link down below. But we look at how culturally they are very much the same. For example, if you look at Alberta, so Alberta right now is making the news, and it's for separation or secession and all that. And Canadians are arguing, well, predominantly the Canadians to the east are arguing that, well, it's part of Canada. What is it doing? We're cousins, or we're brethren. But in reality, Alberta and Saskatchewan have more in common with the western states of the United States, such as Montana, North Dakota. They have more in common with those states culturally than they do with the Canadian brethren to the east. So what we're seeing now in North America is not really one nation trying to take the land of another nation, but rather an ongoing civil war that has not been resolved yet. And as this happens, we will see changes as United Kingdom influence wanes even more, and American not just influence, but American assertiveness increases. So how does that affect you? Well, sooner or later, you might find yourself waking up to a map of the United States that looks more like the whole North America. That's on its way to happening now. So if you're curious, tell you what, if you want to play a little game, see if you can make that is loud. See if you can make a new flag that would include the different states of Canada. Well, different states of Canada, the different states within Canada. Now, here's another question: would they be states? I don't think so. I think that initially they will be Commonwealth, which they are. Canada is already a Commonwealth to the United Kingdom. It's just going to become Commonwealth to the United States, which is what's been happening throughout our history. If you look at the War of 1812, after that war, the Dominion of Canada had to make a choice: will it find itself siding with Great Britain, or would it find itself siding more with the United States? And behaviorally, it's been siding with the United States more. And not only that, but it's gotten cozy to the United States being there. And we can see it in its lack of spending in military. We're seeing it culturally. It's identifying itself as the not America. And what it means is that it's the not the southern nation of the United States. It's not part of that. It finds itself more in line with its Yankee brethren. And again, these terms that I'm using, I will put a link to a book that will explain all of that, which I recommend that you read to get a better understanding of the United States, of the country that you live in, or of the union that you live in, to be more exact. And I wanted to also, since I'm in Washington, I did want to give a historical note to how this looked like in the past, this assimilation and this progressive assimilation going to like using that word again, but this progressive assimilation of North America by the United States. So there was a great example off the coast of Washington is the San Juan Islands that were initially, but they were claimed by the Dominion of Canada, or Great Britain rather, and bit by bit, the United States, through its influence, through its aggressiveness, I would even say, it has bit by bit claimed those regions and has assimilated them into the Union of the United States. So take a look at a history book. It'll tell you all about that. If you have any questions about all of this, if you think that I'm completely off, I'm sorry to hear that, but I am open to counter arguments as long as you have sources. Anyway, that'll be all, and goodbye.